Well, that was a challenging introduction to temporal isothermics. The professor should go easy on the first lecture. Taryn? Taryn, are you listening to me?
Yes,
I was saying...
I heard you. Challenging introduction. Who's that girl? The one sitting by the statue of Panic the First. Seen her around, but no idea who she is.
What? Oh, her. Not sure. Why not ask Sorenkin? They always seem to know who's who.
Yeah, good idea. Sorenkin? Sorenkin! May I have a word?
What is it, Taryn?
Who's that girl sitting over there?
Her? She's from the House of Lungbarrow. Goes by the name of Susan. A member of her family works at the Grand Archive with one of my cousins.
It's strange that in all the years that I've been at the Academy, it's only this year that I've seen her around.
I think she was homeschooled for a couple of decades, but I could be wrong about that. Anyway, when she enrolled at the Academy, she had to complete a number of modules before moving into your year group. So in fact, it isn't strange at all that you've not seen her around. Well, unless it's anything else, I'll be off.
No, nothing at all. Thanks, Sorenkin.
Oh, and in future, Taryn, I prefer it if you didn't call to me across the hallway in front of everyone, like a Shebogan tavern landlord.
Shebogans. Right.
Lungbarrow? Rumour has it they have natural borns in their family.
Oh, who cares about that? They're still Time Lords.
Oh, don't misunderstand me. I'm not prejudiced. But I'm very aware that many other people are. It's complicated dealing with natural borns.
Complicated? They don't have two heads, you know. I suppose I see what you mean. Some people look down on anyone who associates with a natural born. People like them.
Oh, I see what this is about.
Come on. Looks like they're going to speak to Susan.
What's that got to do with us? Maybe they want to borrow a book.
People like that don't borrow books. They have their servants do it for them. I smell trouble.
Don't get involved, Taryn.
If it's all quite harmless, then I'll walk away. But if not, I'll be there to defend her.
Defend her? Oh, I see what this is about. You've taken a shine to her.
No, I haven't. I just don't like bullies. Well, are you coming or not?
Oh, very well. Let's get this over with.
My dear Yarvan, I really don't know what's become of the Academy. It seems as if they're letting in just anyone these days.
I know what you mean. It really is too much. I wonder if I should write a letter of complaint to the Cardinal Registrar.
What a terribly good idea. Standards must be maintained. Do you hear me, Lungbarrow?
I thought you were talking to your friend. I'm sure it has nothing to do with me.
Don't try to be smart with me. It doesn't suit you.
Is there a problem?
Are you addressing me?
Yes, clearly I am. Heard what you were saying. Suggest you step away.
Are you threatening me?
I don't know. Depends. Are you bullying a fellow student?
Come on, Yarvan. I really don't care for the tone around here.
Well, you weren't much good as backup.
Oh, you didn't need me. You were clearly in command of the situation.
Well, we can agree to disagree on that. I suppose we should introduce ourselves. I'm Taryn. This is Melfaxion.
I'm Susan.
Yes, I know. You're welcome, by the way.
What for? I'm fairly sure they wouldn't have done anything to harm me. The Great Hall has a lot of security cameras.
Yes, but they're the sort of people who can pay to make evidence disappear.
Evidence? Are you suggesting they might bribe an official? You make it sound like a serious crime and not a case of student bullying. Well, it wasn't really even that. Just some unpleasantness. Well, the rest period is finished. We should probably go for our next lecture. Are you taking Old High Gallifreyan?
No, I decided to wait till next year for that pleasure. But we're both in the modules on transtemporal isometry and temporal isothermics, so I'm sure we'll see a lot of each other.
Yes, I expect so. Well, it was nice to meet you. Goodbye.
Have you dismissed your defender so soon? You must be very sure of yourself.
Oh, I thought you'd gone.
Gone? Oh no, we're very much here to stay. Unlike people like you, Lord Rassilon should have banished your kind to the wilderness, or better still, exterminated the lot of you.
Why do you have to be so cruel? I'm not causing you any trouble.
She doesn't understand. It must be some deficiency in the brain tissue. Face it, girl. You could study here for years, and maybe one day they'd even let you graduate. But nothing will change the fact that you're a mistake. A defective life form.
Well put, Yavin. You're not a true Time Lord. You're no better than a filthy shabogan.
Oh, just leave me alone. Leave me alone.
You would command us! You clearly have no grasp of the ways of the Citadel. We are from a great house, in fact the greatest of them all, Lord Rassilon's own house. And we stand at the top of Time Lord society. From our house have come generals, cardinals and presidents, whereas your house is little more than a joke.
Oh, why can't you just leave me alone?
Because you are a threat. That's why.
I don't understand you. I'm not a threat to anyone. Please, I'm begging you, just let me go.
The universe looks to Gallifrey as the guardian of creation. The lesser races hold us in awe, and rightly so. But that reverence could be lost if they knew that some of our number were natural born, just like themselves. People like you are a blot on the untarnished mirror of Time Lord perfection.
I have Time Lord DNA just like you. And I've taken the solemn oath just like you. I swear to protect the ancient law of Gallifrey, and with all my might and brain I will...
How dare you! Your lips are unworthy to utter those words!
You're hurting me! Let go of me, let go!
Let go? I shall hurl you down the nearest garbage disposal shaft! Ah! My shins! You vile savage!
I can't believe she kicked you. Well, I suppose you were right. She's little more than a savage. Do you want me to go after her?
No, leave her be for now. We shall see her again in due course, and next time we shall have the advantage.
Ah, dear. And another day of mindless tedium draws to a close. Why did I ever take that job at the Grand Archive? Well, I know the answer to that, don't I? I need to monitor my own timeline for anomalies. What's that? Is someone there? Show yourself. Oh, goodness me, Susan. What are you doing lurking in the shadows?
Sorry, Grandfather. I didn't mean to frighten you. I just needed to be alone with my thoughts.
Huh. And sitting in my room with all the lights off. Lights on. Well, that's better. Now we can see each other. Oh, my dear child, whatever is the matter? You look like you've been crying.
Yes, I have. It's nothing. I'm sorry, Grandfather. You've had a busy day. I shouldn't have come here.
Shouldn't have come here? Oh, my child. If you can't confide in me, well, what kind of grandfather would that make me, eh? Now, why don't you start from the beginning?
It was because of 2 of the students at the academy. They were saying terrible things about me and our family. I felt quite upset by it. Then when I tried to reason with them and explain that I had also taken the solemn oath just like them, one of them became very angry and grabbed me and started shaking me. I was really quite scared.
Oh, my dear, I'm so sorry. People can be so cruel. Let me guess. Members of the House of Rassalon.
That's right. How did you know?
Oh, very simple deduction, my dear. Think about it for a moment. You know our history. Rassalon rebelled against the Pythia, and she cursed our race to sterility. Rassalon saved us from extinction through the creation of the genetic looms, but then decreed that ever after, only the loom-born could inherit the legacy of Rassalon. Therefore, members of the House of Rassalon would be the first to condemn anyone they suspected of being natural-born.
But we have Time Lord DNA.
Indeed we do. And we have the symbiotic nuclei, enabling us to regenerate. But for some people, that isn't enough. They have some twisted ideas about racial purity. Dear, oh dear. I think that what you need is some time away from the academy. Oh, don't mistake me, my dear. I certainly don't want to see you fall behind in your studies. I was just thinking of a day or 2. Just you and me.
Oh, what a good idea. Thank you, Grandfather. Thank you. I know we'll have a wonderful time. Where shall we go?
Well, I haven't a plan all worked out, child. I've only just made the suggestion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just thought it was a nice idea.
Indeed it is. And your enthusiasm is appreciated. But I can't just disappear without a by your leave. I shall need to speak to the Archivist Prime and get permission to be away. Well, that's a task for tomorrow. Now let's see what we can do this evening to brighten your mood, eh?
Thank you, Grandfather. Things always seem better when I'm with you.
Ah, welcome, Doctor. You wanted to see me?
Ah, yes, Archivist Prime. If you're not too busy.
I'm always busy, as is indeed everyone at the Grand Archive, including you, I hope.
Busy, madam? Oh, yes. Always, busy.
So why have you requested this meeting?
I would like some time off. I want to take my granddaughter away on a brief holiday.
A holiday? Oh, yes, I've heard of them. They've become quite popular in certain circles. So, do you think it's a good use of your time?
Madam Archivist, I wouldn't waste your time making the request if I didn't think so. I plan to incorporate an educational element.
Well, that sounds acceptable. Very well. I'll give you my permission on the understanding that you can find someone to cover your duties. I'm sure I don't need to remind you that monitoring possible events requires a great patience as well as a great skill in analysing the data streams. It can't be left to just anyone.
Oh, I quite agree. Yes. Which is why I've approached senior researcher Zorik, who I'm sure you'll agree has all the required experience to fulfill the task.
Well, yes, that's certainly true. So the matter is settled. You may go. Oh, and Doctor, before you make such a request again, please remember that your duties come first.
Oh, madam, no one need remind me of that. Good day to you. Yes, my duty. For you, it's for timelines. But for me, it's most certainly the welfare of my granddaughter.
Hello, Grandfather.
Ah, there you are. I was beginning to think you weren't coming after all.
Oh, I'm sorry. I suppose because I didn't know where we were going and what we'd be doing, I didn't know what to bring or how much to pack.
Oh, my good gracious, child. You're not moving house, you know. Well, maybe it's my fault. Even a clue might have helped you in packing. Well, let's not worry about it. The most important thing is that we get to spend time together. In some ways, the location is unimportant, though I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with our destination.
I've been so looking forward to our trip. I've thought about little else for the past 2 days.
Well, I've been feeling positive about the prospect of this excursion too. Yes, it will be wonderful to get away and just do our own thing. Yes. Well, I suppose I should satisfy your curiosity, shouldn't I, eh? We're climbing the Mountains of Solace and Solitude.
Oh, you want to go there?
And is there something wrong with them?
Well, no, but I suppose I thought we might go to, I don't know, maybe somewhere like Arcadia?
Arcadia? Huh, all that hustle and bustle? No, thank you. No, my dear, the Mountains of Solace and Solitude are a much better choice. Well, think about it. They have the advantage of being a wild expanse, and so are unlikely to be bothered by the constantly bumping into other people. After all, aren't we meant to be getting away from the pressures of city life, eh?
I suppose so.
You suppose so? You don't sound very convinced.
I'm sorry, it's just not what I expected.
Susan, my child, you are very dear to me. And if going to Arcadia is so important to you, well, we can change our plans.
No, it's all right. You've made the plans. Let's go to the mountains. We can go to Arcadia another time.
Then that's settled. The Mountains of Solace and Solitude it shall be.
Ah, there you are. I was beginning to wonder what had become of you. Well?
I had trouble finding Sorenkin. I shouldn't be surprised, after all. How could Sorenkin snoop on people and discover their business if they sat still for too long?
Yes, they're a gossip. So what do they say?
That the girl is going on a holiday. Sickening, isn't it?
Sickening is right. A holiday? The very idea is ridiculous. She behaves like the lesser races. Well, we shouldn't be surprised, I suppose.
Oh, it gets worse. She's going with the one she calls her grandfather.
Her grandfather? To think that she would be so bold as to parade her natural-born status in front of true Timelords. I'm disgusted and more than a little angry. Yavin, I think it's time to teach Lungbarrow a lesson. Her and her so-called grandfather.
Used this skimmer for ages. I wonder if I shouldn't have serviced it before we set off.
Well, it sounds all right. so maybe it's fine. Besides, you haven't had the time to service it.
Well, that's certainly true. My duties at the Grand Archive do keep me rather busy. More's the pity. Oh, let's not talk about work. It already consumes so much of my time. These next 2 days are about exploration, relaxation, and leaving behind all our worries.
That sounds good.
Yes, just what the doctor ordered, you might say. Now, let's turn our attention to our destination, shall we? Which mountain should we scale, eh? Solace or Solitude?
Well, I suppose Mount Solitude is more impressive. We'll get some amazing views.
A good choice, my dear. Well, the Mountain of Solitude it shall be. Oh yes, before I forget, have a look in that bag, would you?
Oh, it's a little drone. It looks so cute. Are you going to film our holiday?
I thought it might be quite useful. That way we can review the footage anytime we wish. Relive the experience, so to speak.
That's a great idea.
Oh, I'm full of good ideas, Susan. I'm positively bursting with them. Ah, and there's the secure parking zone. We'll leave the skimmer there, and then we can begin our hike. I'll also make a booking for one of the cabins on the upper slopes. Do you know, my dear, I've a feeling this is going to be a holiday to remember. Yes, indeed, a holiday to remember. And there it is, Mount Solitude. Wild and beautiful. Smell that mountain air.
Grandfather, there's too much dust flowing about.
Oh, Susan, is that really the attitude of an explorer? You must try to enter into the spirit of this endeavor, my dear.
Sorry, Grandfather. I suppose I'm just not as adventurous as you are.
Not adventurous? Nonsense, child. It's in the blood. Mind you, I take your point about all the dust blowing about. Hopefully things will be better once we scale Mount Solitude. Maybe we should have brought climbing ropes and a grappling hook. Oh, don't look shocked, child. It's always wise to be prepared for every possibility. Well, as many as one can reasonably imagine, but especially when one's out in the potentially hazardous terrain.
I'm not sure I'm prepared for hazards.
Now, if I remember correctly, there's a path just beyond that ridge which connects to the main route. Yes, it's all coming back to me.
I hadn't realized you climbed Mount Solitude before.
Eh? Oh yes, with Koshai, in my earlier days. How things change. Well, no sense in dwelling on the past. Come on, my dear. We've a mountain to climb.
There's no sign of them. Maybe they changed their minds.
Patience, Yarvan, patience. Ah, here's the secure parking zone for hikers. Drop me here. While you're parking, ask the attendant if he's seen the girl.
Good day, my lord. I trust that you are well. A nice day for a hike. Are you here for long?
I suppose just a day. Tell me, has a young girl been here? She'd be with an old man.
A young girl and an old man. Oh yes, they came through here about half an hour ago. Are they friends of yours, my lord?
Friends? Let's say we're acquainted.
Oh, I see. If I may have the key to your skimmer, my lord, I'll park it for you.
Yes, of course. And a little something for your trouble.
Oh, thank you, my lord. Very kind of you, my lord. Yes, enjoy your hike.
They came through here about half an hour ago. Not too much of an advantage.
Indeed not. The old man will slow her down.
I've been meaning to ask you a question. We've given up a day to follow them, and now we're embarking on a hike up Mount Solitude, which isn't the easiest of things to do. So when we catch up with them, what are we going to do?
I haven't decided yet, but believe me, they will be left in no uncertain terms as to how things stand.
A staser? Where did you get it? And why have you got it?
What? This old thing? Oh, I've had it for a while. I pulled a few strings to get a license. As to the reason I've brought it with me, well, this place may be called the Mountain of Solitude, but there are all kinds of creatures living here. Some of them are dangerous, so it's best to be prepared. It may also be useful in our discussions with the girl.
You don't mean to resort to violence?
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think Lord Rassilon ever shrank from a difficult decision? Certainly not. He would face it with courage, determination, and conviction.
Lord Rassilon is one thing, but we are quite another. We are only students. Besides, I thought we simply wanted the girl to return to Lungbarrow and resume home tuition.
As outcomes go, that would be acceptable, I suppose. But it doesn't solve the problem of natural borns, does it? It simply sweeps the issue under the carpet.
I think a permanent solution would require a change in the law. To push that through, the court should need to be a High Counselor. Maybe even the President.
Very probably, though I'm not sure I can wait that long. I intend to take a stand now. Don't worry, my friend. I shan't require you to do anything that will give you sleepless nights. I'm more than a match for the House of Lungbarrow.
It's really becoming very rocky, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Oh, let's stop for a moment, shall we, my dear? Oh, that's a very welcome rest, I must say. But look at that view. Breathtaking. Utterly breathtaking.
Even the citadel doesn't seem quite as imposing. What I mean is, from here it's easy to imagine it's just another city, filled with ordinary people living ordinary lives.
Indeed so. Most of what we think about the citadel is informed by years of listening to propaganda. Timelords spend most of their time telling each other how much better we are than the lesser races.
And some Time Lords spend their time saying how much better they are than everyone else on Gallifrey.
Ah yes, people like your bullies. Well, try and forget about them for now, my dear. Just focus on the present moment. That's what I learned from my old teacher.
Do you mean your friend the Hermit?
Eh? Oh yes. Well, his lifestyle certainly gave him a depth of appreciation for the universe but I've seldom encountered in anyone else. If more people spent time outside the citadel, maybe things inside would be rather different. Being out here among nature, with all its beauty, its dangers, well, it really gives one a broader perspective on life. Yes. I have the greatest admiration for the Hermit. But the only point on which I disagree with him is whether or not we should abandon life in the Citadel entirely.
I suppose that would be very difficult. Ah!
Oh, Susan, really? How is it, child, that in all this great expanse of rock and sand, you managed to fall into the only puddle? Oh dear, let me help you out. Oh, this is priceless. What a sight you look, with your big wet bottom.
Grandfather, it isn't water.
Isn't water? What are you talking about? Oh my. Susan, you're right. Well, how very odd. I wonder what it is. You know, my dear, I'm sure this is organic matter of some kind. Yes, something has been liquefied. But what and how? I wonder. Yes, I wonder.
Are you going to take a sample?
I don't carry specimen jars with me, child. What do you think I am, eh? A mine-bio laboratory? Besides, we're on holiday. Now let's move on, shall we? Cabin is still some hours away, and we should try to get there before nightfall. Hopefully, your clothes will dry out as we walk. Well, come on, shake a leg. Oh dear, oh dear. It's no good, Susan. I shall have to rest for a moment. That's better. I think I pushed the pace somewhat.
I think I'll take a look along the ridge.
Don't wander too far, my dear.
Grandfather, I think I can hear something.
Well, of course you can, child. It's the drone. Unfortunately, it's one of the cheaper models. Hardly built for stealth.
No, it's not the drone. It sounds like a creature. I think it's coming from that cave.
Really? Oh. Well, I'll have a look. After all, hiking isn't just about the act of physical exertion, but exploring one's surroundings.
Be careful, Grandfather.
Don't worry, my dear. It's probably nothing more than a sand turtle or a rabbit.
Grandfather? That sounded like a snort.
What's that, child? A snort?
I think it could be a pig bear.
A pig bear? Oh, I don't think so. No. You know, you really must pay more attention to your study of geography, my dear. There are no pig bears on the continent of wild endeavour.
Then maybe you should tell them that. Look out!
Oh my good gracious! Pig bears! Ah!
Grandfather!